Welcome to the Piano Ninja Tricks podcast. Hi, I'm Lisa Spector, your piano ninja, here to make everything easier for you at the piano so you feel like a piano ninja. If you are watching on YouTube, I did not have on my piano gloves, and I'm putting on now, and I just figured out a new way to, I'm always asking myself, and I always encourage you to ask yourself this question, and I'm holding up my sticky note I always have in the piano is, how can I make this easier? Well, I just made it easier because I tried to record this with my gloves on, so they're gloves with the fingers cut off, but they're restricting, and it was really challenging. So I took them off, and it made it easier. Not my usual opening piece. It's the end of the third Scherzo of Chopin, but I'm going to be using that today in this episode to demonstrate how to practice slow to play fast. And before I get to that, I want to invite you to a Groundhog Day masterclass on February 2nd called From Practice Frustration to Major Progress. If your piano practicing is feeling like it's Groundhog Day every day, where you keep repeating the same things over and over and over, and you're not making any progress, or your progress is slow, this is a great masterclass for you to join, where you will be learning real habits, aka piano ninja tricks, that lead you to real progress for a lasting result. So break the Groundhog Day practice that you're doing and join me. It's a free masterclass. It is going to be at noon Pacific, 3 Eastern, 9 in the evening Central European Time. And you can sign up, register at lisaspector.com/groundhog. So look forward to seeing you there. And before I get to talking about how to practice slow, why you want to practice slow, and the benefits of practicing slow to play fast sooner, stay around to the end. I have another special, very exclusive, free invitation for you. So excuse me, so many times I hear students talk about they want to get fast as soon as possible when they're learning a piece of music, thinking that that's going to get them a faster result of playing the piece fast. The opposite is the truth. So playing fast too soon slows you down. Playing fast later speeds you up. I know it's reverse of what it seems like it should be, but I have seen this not only for myself, but hundreds maybe of students, and they all tell me they're so surprised because they've always been told, well, the sooner you get playing fast, the faster it's going to be sooner. Well, it's not that at all. So when I am learning a piece, and it is what I call like the very slow stage when I'm learning it, I stay in the slow to, let's say, under tempo. I like to call it under tempo for the longest period of time. Then I have no problem at all increasing the tempo to a fast tempo when I have all the details work out, all the quick reflex moves. My hands know exactly where I'm going. Speeding up is never the challenge. It's staying in the slower tempo. Once I've learned a piece, I don't like to play excessively slow because it often breaks the musical line, and I always want to be focusing on what is the musical line, what is the phrasing, no matter what tempo is at. So I like to stay like at that under tempo, kind of medium under tempo. Now, I always say we're alchemists as pianists. We practice in different stages. So at the beginning, I'm doing more really slow, and I'm going up to kind of a medium tempo. As I get closer to performance, as I am now with this third scherzo, I'm at the under tempo and only occasionally playing it up to tempo, maybe at the most once each practice session. That's it. Most of my work is under tempo. I learned a really valuable lesson during just absolutely cherished lessons in New York City and Aspen Music Festival with Lillian Clear, rest in peace. She was so dear and such a fabulous musician. And one of the suggestions she made to me, she told me she always did. She was very known for her Mozart playing, exquisite Mozart player. And what she said was that she often, when she was getting ready for a performance, like it's that week, she would do her practicing under tempo and slightly under dynamic. So the dynamic range would still be there, but it would be less. So let's say a fortissimo might change to a mezzo forte. She'd still have the crescendos, and it would, the dynamic would still be there, but they wouldn't be the full range. And so what happens when you practice that way, when it's just slightly under tempo and slightly under dynamics, things get exposed, things that aren't quite in your fingers that you can easily brush under the carpet when it's super fast, but then you never know when those demons kind of show up on stage. You want to avoid that. So avoid that by practicing under tempo and under dynamics as it gets close to the performance. So I have a performance of this piece in 3 days from now, 4 days from now, and I am, all my practice is under tempo. Friday, I'd say I'll start playing it through. Saturday, I'll play it through, and then the performance is Sunday. So now I know this piece well. I've had it a long time, so it's very much in my fingers. But still, even still, there are sections that get away from me. So I want to know what they are. So I'm going to demonstrate a little bit of how I would practice this as it gets now 4 days away from a performance. I'm not going to practice the whole thing, but I'm going to take certain sections of it. And you'll notice, particularly if you're watching me on YouTube, that I'm using a ton of quick reflex motion, as I always do. I've talked about this in almost every episode, but quick reflex motion is basically teaching your body to have internal quick reflexes so that you're moving fast when you're playing slow. So when I say under tempo, my movement is still very fast. It's very fast when it's excessively slow. I'm always conscious of where my hands are going. I'm training myself from the moment I start a piece of music. So I'm going to just start with this. After the introduction, you have this famous octave section. I'm going to play it under tempo, but if you're watching me on YouTube, watch how quickly my hand is always prepared for the next octave while I'm playing under tempo. That was a little too fast. And the way I knew it was too fast because I couldn't quite keep up with a quick reflex motion. So I'm going to do that section again and again. I don't beat myself up for that. So it was too fast. It's a learning opportunity. I just do it again a little bit slower. Now, if I would probably gradually increase that to end up at final tempo. So I have practiced it at tempo very little, but it just, my hands went so easily because I've practiced it under tempo with quick reflex motion. I would do the same thing with the next section. So a little under tempo, I'm pulling up each note, and every note I'm prepared for the next note. It's a little sloppy, so that's okay. I'm just going to slow it down a little bit. I'm going to get that tempo. I'm going to set that tempo before I start. Bup, 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 bup. It's a little floppy, and I'm going to slow it down a tiny bit more, but I don't think it needs much slower. if I were practicing, I actually wouldn't go any faster, but because I'm on camera, I'm doing this for you, I'm just going to play that section under tempo once. Back to the beginning. So I am not comfortable continuing anymore. I want to do a little more under tempo practice before I bring it up to tempo. But I'm going to jump, because I'm short on time here, I'm going to jump to the beautiful middle meno mosso section. It's a little bit under tempo. Benefit of under tempo, my left hand was just a little sloppy, and I got to hear it because I'm under tempo. If that was up to tempo, I could have just brushed it under the carpet. So I'm going to go back and then go on. The other thing I'm doing, this section is leggerissimo, very, very light. I'm purposely playing it a little more into the keys, because then when it's up to tempo, and I can get lighter on it without getting it away from me. So again, if I were practicing, I'd stay with that tempo. Because I'm on camera for you, I'm going to just do that section up to tempo. There may be sections I need work, but this, I'm being intentional that no matter what, I'm going on. Because as you get close to performance, you also want to practice sessions like that, where you don't want to get in the habit of always going back and correcting things, because you don't want to be on stage and then go back and correct something. Pretty pleased with that, and I would take the next session and practice it the same way. So that gives you a little bit of a taste of how to practice slow to play fast. Again, this is, getting ready for a performance. If it were a new piece, I would be more on the very slow side up to the medium tempo or under tempo. And this is just the cliff notes to this. I'm going to be exploring this more in my monthly Piano Ninja Tricks demo. I play for my members of the Piano Ninja Tricksters Club. And as a special thank you for listening this far on the podcast, you are invited. It is Thursday, January 30th at 4 Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern. So if you would like, I can't get you the replay, that's only for members, but if you'd like a guest pass to attend, such a wonderful community of members. I just love my members, and you'll get to meet them. So here's what you want to do. If you want to attend that live and go into further depth on how to practice slow to play fast, if you're listening on a podcast app, right at the top of the show notes, there's a little line that says send me a text. Send me a text and I'll get you the Zoom link to attend. If you are watching on YouTube, post a comment and say I'd like to attend your Piano Ninja Tricks demo on Thursday, January 30th at 4 Pacific, where I am 7 p.m. Eastern. And also, again, I'll see you sign up for the Groundhog Day Masterclass and avoid practicing like every day is Groundhog Day, and that is Sunday, February 2nd. By the way, if you're fairly new here, I've adopted Sundance, my yellow lab here, who's snoozing in her dog bed, such a good girl, about a month ago. So just want to introduce Sundance, and I'm going to get back to another piece I'm playing Sunday, which is the Godowsky transcription of the Aeolian harp, Chopin's Aeolian harp etude, but for left hand only.